Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to E-rev TV. I am Pat, the TwiZ Harrison, and co-casting alongside of me is going to be Centripetal, and we are covering another ESL Round 7 matchup as we have OGB taking on RS. And here in just a couple moments, we'll give you a little bit of a roster rundown. But actually, you know what? I can go ahead and do it right now. We have Singed, Amumu, Aurelia, Tarek, and Rise for Team OGB. For RS, we have Malphite, Corki, Soraka, Nunu, and Vladimir. And we're just waiting for this to get underway here. A couple more people to load up into this game, and we will be going. And we are now live. Centripetal, what do you think about these teams right now, and what are you expecting to see out of the laning phase here?
I'm expecting a pretty fast-paced game. I mean, these teams look pretty even, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see the laning phase. I feel like a lot of stuff's going to happen in the laning phase.
Okay, and let's kind of look at what we're going to think the lanes are actually going to be here. The jungles for both teams, we have Amumu for OGB, and the jungler is going to be Nunu for Team RS. The lanes right now, we'll probably see Corki in middle, and possibly Rise going middle for these guys too. What do you think about their middle champion for OGB?
If I had to bet, I bet it would be Rise. That's my best bet. Aurelia is normally a solo top hero.
Okay, and then, looks like a lot of action happening here already as they have caught Malphite, and Malphite finding himself in a predicament early on in this game as he is going to be going down, and first blood already as all 5 members of OGB waiting for him inside that bush as he comes around, instantly killed there, and that kill going to Rise. So a couple of these people are teleporting back, and they're going to start running to the respective lanes. Happy that they picked up that first blood. What did you think about that, man, as he just got destroyed there?
I'm really not sure why Malphite was there and the rest of his team wasn't. They knew the enemy had a clairvoyance. They knew the other had the long range stun was Tarek, and possibly even the rune prison was Rise. So I'm not sure why his team wasn't there with him.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd choice there, as OGB picking up the first blood against RS. And now we do see Aurelia as the solo top here. Tarek going to be helping, looks like he might be helping Amumu. I don't know why. But Rise in middle, and Singed at the bottom lane. And then for Team RS, like I said, we're going to be seeing most likely Corki middle, which he has made his presence known there. We'll see Soraka Malphite at the bottom lane, and Vladimir with the solo top. So right now,
It'll definitely be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No, what lane do you think is going to be strongest here for the bottom lane? I mean, at the top, Vladimir may have a little bit more harass than what Aurelia does, but for the bottom ones here, Tarek Singed or Soraka Malphite, what do you think is going to be the key?
I definitely like the Tarek Singed a lot more because of the fling stun combination. Just it puts out a lot more pressure than really Soraka gives out no pressure, and Malphite gives very little. So if we're going to see jungle ganks, they're probably going to be much more effective from OGS.
Okay, and a little, is it OGS or OGB? I can't remember which one.
OGB, sorry, OGB and RS.
Yep,
I'm getting my initials mixed up.
A little switcheroonie here, though. Corki now rotating to the top lane, giving Vladimir the solo against Rise. So not a terrible switch there, and it's something that we might have seen coming there. Rise can be kind of devastating early on, and maybe they just wanted Corki to go up top. But that's the switch that's happened. And I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on all the
it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me because, I mean, Aurelia is a really strong, like, 1-5, and Vladimir really doesn't get powerful until level 9. So I could see him having a lot of troubles in that lane, whereas Corki's probably a better matchup.
Yep, and another thing that I talk about quite frequently in my cast is escapability. Vlad does have a Sanguine pull, but that Valkyrie is just a much better way to escape from this this attack if somebody were to come out of the jungle for a gank up here. So this bottom lane is actually quite boring. I mean, you do have Tarek and Soraka there, so any damage that these guys put out isn't in the masses normally. So neither one has a lot of bursts that can be devastating. But what's really interesting
Oh, wow, mid.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. A lot of stuff going on there as Nunu coming out of the jungle, and he's just now going after Rise. And he is just getting walloped away here as Vladimir and Nunu both chasing him down. Amumu trying to come in and help, but that's not going to be enough as Rise Oh my gosh, yeah, Rise going down, but Vlad going down as well. And we've got a chase going on to Nunu. Nunu eating one of the creeps there to get some health back. I don't know how far behind you are on my, or how far ahead you are again on my replay here. But you just keep getting ahead of me, dude.
Yeah, but I think I have the pausing problem solved. So I should be able to back it up a little bit, get us more even.
Nice, absolutely. I meant like Tarek and Amumu in middle, and Tarek just left heading back down, so we're just bottom. If you can get to that point.
Okay, perfect. We're in about the same spot.
Alright, great. So, let's talk a little bit about starting items, which we do every game here. Look at another game where not a lot of Doran's items being used. A couple Doran's rings that we see out here, one on Malphite, Soraka, another one on Tarek, Doran's shield on Singed. Otherwise, we're seeing that some health pots, a rejuvenation bead on Aurelia. And that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, it's again without pots, like the Doran's items it's real tough because you're missing out on, if your opponent gets 2 health pots, that's 400 health to have up on you. That's really tough to come back from in a really harassy lane, which both lanes really are.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really liking to see a lot of this action out of the jungle that we've seen already. Clairvoyant spotting Nunu in the jungle here. But these guys, not only are the jungles coming out ganking, the jungles are actually going at each other. We've seen Nunu come after Amumu like twice already there as he's tried to catch him inside the jungle and ruin his farm. So let's go ahead and give you just, we're a little over 5 minutes into this game here. Corki and Aurelia going at it at top. But nobody really getting hurt bad enough there to do anything. But let's kind of look at what we've got for creep score right now. As Aurelia with 32, Corki with 30. So Aurelia doing a good job holding her own against him. As we look towards the middle lane now, Rise with 18. Vladimir pushed all the way up with... Oh, Vladimir only with 8 right now. Really, that is a very odd number to see out of middle there. I was almost shocked to see that. Are you seeing the same thing, or is this some glitch?
No, you're right. Vladimir is having an insanely tough time with his V-Man's very, very aggressive Rise. You can just see him hugging the tower, and Rise is still harassing him. So he's having all kinds of problems.
Yeah, it won't be long before we see Nunu coming back out here, because he's going to need that help. So Rise playing a very strong middle against Vladimir, and it's definitely showing as the creep scores are there. Malphite gathering quite a bit of farm as he is now the leader in CS at this point, all from the bottom lane. Singed only at 19, so half the amount of farm that Malphite's been able to pick up. So it looks like down at the bottom lane, definitely going towards Team RS right now, as far as experience and farm go. And we're now seeing Amumu beginning to rotate to the top.
Top lane.
Yeah, see that Amumu rotating to the top here. He goes to go in for the bandage toss, but not able to grab that. Takes a tower shot along the way, and now he's going to be heading back to his jungle. And again, Rise is just doing a phenomenal job zoning out Vladimir here. Yeah, and then maybe they thought this was going to happen early game, and that's why Corki's not here as well, because that would be even more devastating to this team if Corki was forced to not gather any farm.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If they figured on Rise being this big of a problem, then switching Corki is definitely a good idea, because you can't afford to let Corki get underfed. He just becomes useless.
Yep, and Rise just Vladimir now going back to heal. And we see Rise hitting level... Did he just hit level 7? Yeah, Rise has now hit level 7. 2-1-0, gathering quite a bit of farm as well as CS. But he's not doing that well either. I guess I need to look at it. He's only at 28 CS right now. So he's spending a lot of time harassing back, not a lot of time last hitting. But both of those things, either way, he's doing a very effective job against Vladimir, holding his own as he's now pushed 2 levels ahead of the current Vladimir in middle.
Yeah, that's definitely a strong point to note, is that... Rise just doesn't need as much farm as Vladimir does. Plus, the level difference is much bigger on mages than it is on physical DPS, so he's definitely winning that lane pretty handily.
So we're seeing Mumu and Tarek both working their way down river here to possibly try to do something against Soraka and Malphite. Malphite now hitting level 6. Singed at level 6.
Oh, this gank looks really strong.
Yeah, these guys are looking pretty well set up here. And now we do see Amumu coming in with Tarek there. Amumu ultimate off on him. Tarek going for the stun on Soraka. Soraka being their immediate target. Malphite following up with his ultimate. Soraka is ignited, trying to get a heal off there. She's barely able to... No, now she's going down. And they're chasing Malphite into the tower. Another fling back, and Malphite's going to drop down here. Nunu trying to come in, but nothing's going to be happening there as he was not able to respond to that gank in time. And that's going to be a couple additional kills here for GMB. Keep forgetting the team names here. OGB.
OGB, yeah.
OGB. I'm definitely writing that down somewhere. All these teams with initials. The last two teams we were casting were initials as well.
Yeah, that was definitely a very interesting fight. You saw the power there of just the fling, Tarek stun, plus a Mumu ult and stun. It's just a lot more pressure than Malphite and Soraka can handle. And there was even some action mid with Vladimir going down and then Corky getting the counter kill actually.
Yeah, now we're seeing a little bit more action trying to go middle as we've seen Tarek going with the stun on Corky right in the middle of his Valkyrie, and it still stuns him afterwards. But 5-2 right now, the current score. OGB is in the lead here. So we're now hitting the 10-minute mark. Let's try to take a peek and see what items are going to be built up here. As Mumu is finishing up his Boots of Swiftness, we see Catalyst on Singe, which is going to go to his ROA. Aurelia almost finished up with her Catalyst as well. And see Rise building up that Tear of the Goddess quite early here also. Other than that, not a lot of other stuff here, except for Rise now in the middle. Nunu trying to come after him, and nothing's going to happen there. And why don't you go ahead and take the mic away for just a second here, as I know there's a way that I can minimize my HUD, and I'm going to do that as it's getting in the way of some of this stuff here.
Yeah, just picking up on the build orders. You can see well, maybe you can't see, but Rise is working with the Banshee Veil, which is actually a very core item on him now after the recent changes to Rise was his mana conversions. And on the other side, Corky's building up a Mana Mune, and it looks like Vladimir is actually going to go down to top lane. I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but he just gets soloed by Aurelia, and Vladimir's just having an awful game right now.
Yep, I was able to grab that there, and I was able to minimize my HUD too, which is super nice. So now, when I hit tab, we can see everything. So now another gathering.
There's actually some action on bottom lane.
Yep, that's what I was saying. A gathering down there at bottom. And we've got the fling back. Soraka, Tarek with the follow-up stun. And Sin's just going to sit here and try to poison her and beat away at her. She's barely able to get a heal off. Will she go down? And there at the tower, and she does go down. Right now, Sin's being exhausted. He's trying to run away from Malphite. And he does fling him forward. And he might go down as well. Very, very low health. Using his ult to try to escape from that. He was poisoned, follow-up stun, and no, they weren't able to get him, barely surviving that attack, and he is dipping out of here to try to get away. I think he was at like 11 health there when I was able to check it. Barely saved.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Malphite got out of there. I thought for sure the poison would have killed him. So, good job by that Malphite getting away.
Yeah, it was pretty solid here, and it is possibly going to be something that's going to cost them a tower here, which they shouldn't have a problem getting the tower down. OGB at the bottom lane. Yep, the tower is going to go down there.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
So another switch back is, looks like Corky has decided to come middle against Rise, and now they're beginning to duke it out there, and Corky was able to take him down there. Rise going down, Corky barely surviving there as that Gatling gun was just pummeling away on him.
Yeah, that was surprising. I'm not sure. Rise is saying that he wasn't able to cast his exhaust, which would make sense because it was not a very well fought battle by that Rise. But I'm getting interested to see the dragon fights coming up because we're getting to that point, and it's going to be interesting.
Yep, we are there. Won't be long now before we see a lot of aggressive warding beginning to take place here around the dragon, and also around that blue buff at the same time. It's just when it's going to happen. I don't think I've seen any real warding yet from OGB, have you?
No, I think I've seen like a Dragon Ward or two, but they have the early game advantage. They're pretty confident that the enemy team can't just go and sneak a dragon.
Yeah, very true here. The laning phase, obviously with the bottom lane being pushed, these guys are going to start to do a lot of roaming, which we're seeing Singed roaming up into their jungle here. He is able to take a quick peek at Malphite. And looks like we've got Corki. Wow, as he gets a heal on him and he's able to get away. Soraka all saving him there as he was able to Valkyrie and leap away from that Singed, who was obviously going for the throwback.
Yeah, it just shows you how strong Valkyrie is, dodging that fling, making sure that he can't be ganked. A lot of other carries, like an Ashe or something, would probably have gone down there.
Yep, and now we're beginning to see exactly what you just talked about. A lot of action going to be happening around the dragon here as they're attempting to get it. All 5 members here from RS, OGB, now trying to come in on this. And there we see Rise coming out immediately onto Malphite, and they're going in to see who's going to get this dragon kill. I don't know exactly who had gotten it. Nunu with his ult right now, but everybody on RS is going down. A lot of damage that's being bursted out of here by Rise as we're just seeing that ball bouncing from one person to another, and he is just dying. Corki, the only one left remaining for RS. I'm sorry, Vlad is still up there as well, and they are both just getting pummeled on. Corki goes down. Vlad very, very low health here. Tarek chasing him down with no mana, not enough to get a stun. Singed with his ult, and they are chasing, and he is barely going to be able to get away again, although Rise coming around the side here. Nope, he's deciding to go back, not try to chase him off, and snag their blue buff. But that was a ton of damage output there.
Yeah, that was a really strong team fight by OGB. Like, RS did get the dragon, but they lost 4 for 1, which is not worth it to get a dragon.
No, not at all. And we talked a little bit about it on the last cast there. You know, 1 is suitable for a dragon on a rare case scenario, maybe 2. But when you lose 4 to defend or to gain that gold from the dragon, it's a lose-lose situation for you there. I mean, I guess they could have lost dragon in the process and made it even worse, but definitely not good for them. So we're now about 15 minutes.
It'll definitely be interesting to...
Go ahead, man. Sorry about that.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how the next team fight progresses, because I'm going to guess that OGB is probably going to look to start pushing.
Yeah, especially after that fight, man. They're going to know that they've got the little ups on that. As long as Rise can stay back and stay out of that action and able to pop his cooldowns over and over again, they're going to be pretty well set. But we're at about 16 minutes, 30 seconds into this game. Current score 12-4 in favor of OGB right now. And I always like to take a peek at CS, as Aurelia with the most CS in the game right now at 115. Followed up closely by, well, the 85 out of Singed, 80 out of Amumu, 52 out of Rise. So they're doing quite a good job with CS here. Corki, the highest person on Team RS right now, with only 103. Malphite falling behind with 91. Soraka with 2. Nunu with 64. And Vladimir with 35. So Vladimir, 0-4 right now, was completely shut out in both lanes that he tried to go to.
Yeah, I feel like RGB has the strong advantage, not just because of their superior farm, but because of how underfed that Vladimir is. You really need your AP carry to carry you through the mid game in order to get your physical carry into the late game. But their AP carry might as well not even be playing. He's causing more harm than good right now.
Yep, and we noticed that there we see a ward being tossed down here, and it's barely going to stay up with 1 hit left. We see Malphite and Vladimir both give it a little poke once. Tarek just drops it right in front of him. Oh, you're in the bush here, take a ward. So let's take a peek at items now. Aurelia already finishing up her Trinity Force, which is going to be the first large item that we see getting built here. Rides with the Banshee's Veil completed as well. Corki finishing the Manamune. And no other core items from anybody else yet. Vlad with the Spirit Visage, probably not the best. Well, yeah, I guess it's not a terrible choice when you're up against a Rise that's destroying you. But the top lane, a lot of action going on here. And down goes Rise as he eats that. And now they're going to begin chasing down Tarek. Tarek running for his life right now, finding himself in a situation where he's up against 3 of the RS people, and they're going to finish him off as well. Corki gathering up the kill there, making the score 12-6 in favor of OGB. But RS definitely needed that little bit of gold and needed those kills on them to even have a chance at this.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they just misplayed. They didn't expect that many people to be top. Rise and Tarek got a little bit over aggressive, they felt good about their performance so far. Maybe got a little cocky.
Possibly. Singed going after Vlad there at the top a little bit, able to do just some damage. But yeah, Vlad's definitely not looking in the best situation right now. He's only at 13 AP and built up no items that really give him a big benefit yet. So now we're seeing a lot of the aggressive warding taking place here, and these are going to be strong offensive wards in the points that they are, and what their goal here is to make sure that they keep somebody up in this area, such as Singed here, and they're going to want to control this jungle. That's going to be their key there. If they can control the jungle farm and the neutral buffs and get some ganks on the way and push after these ganks, that's going to be really strong for them. As you see them catching Nunu there, and we see Rise pushing back up there, trying to do some damage on him. Corki coming from the side. I'm trying to remember.
You're exactly right about the aggressive warding. When you're ahead, you get more ahead. And how you get more ahead is you deny the opponent's farm, either by pushing towers, getting dragons, or taking their jungle. And they're definitely opting for the jungle route here.
Yep. So they have like the key place is warded here. And that's one thing to look at, that they're gonna dominate this jungle. So any chance that RS has of turtling is now being taken away. A lot of times, stuff that you see in amateur play is that this strategy isn't done. These guys just sit back, hang around, go buy items, farm a lane, push it all the way up. Aurelia might be running into trouble here, but no, she's going to get out of there. But they do that, but they completely neglect their jungle. So what happens is for example, Corki would spend the next 10 minutes going through the jungle here as spawns keep coming up, and he would gather all of his farm from there. And then out of nowhere, you see this Corki that you were destroying earlier now move into the late game where he's gathered the farm from the jungle that you weren't defending and start destroying your team.
Definitely a large part of low yellow misplays are just reluctance to push, reluctance to be aggressive when you have the advantage, and that's why games seem to drag in lower ELO, because people don't know how to finish games and how to turn their advantages into wins.
Yep. Rise again finding himself overextended here in the jungle as Corki and Vlad just ripping him apart here. I don't know exactly what the whole concept of that was. I know they're trying to defend this jungle, but yeah, he just finds himself there, and now this team may be forced to fight 4v5. No, it looks like they might be getting out of here. I don't know if Singe is going to try to stay up here to remain aggressive or not. Let's kind of give him a follow here and see exactly what happens. Alright, so we're basically waiting for these guys to get one more spawn back up. When Rise comes back up, they're going to have all of the AP first that's needed to continue pushing through this. And they've gone through and they've farmed this jungle again. So this is about the third time that they've gone through and done this. Dragon is up. So we'll see them push this lane forward here, forcing someone to defend that, and then they'll work their way over to Dragon. A couple people missing right now on Team RS, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was there. And it looks like they were, as Dragon, they come in on Dragon at half health.
Yeah, they know that Vlad's top, so they can just go and take that. Really, to be honest. Oh wow, here goes Initiate on Corki.
Yep, there we go. Mumu coming in on Corki here. I think I'm a few seconds behind you again. But Corki trying to run away. Nunu is there, and now we're seeing Singe run up here. The throw back, and now we have a Nunu ult going off. A Nunu now being ignited, and they're chasing him down, but he's going to run back into the base. I think we're just a couple seconds off again. I'm at about 22 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. I'm where Singed is, well, they're basically running down towards the bottom farm here. And the rest of them are gathered at blue buff.
Yep.
A good note here, Vladimir has gotten a chance to pick up a little bit of the farm here as he has soloed this top lane for a little while and began to push towards the tower here.
Yeah, that's definitely a strong note. If you're gonna lose Dragon, have your players do something constructive. So Vladimir pushes top, gets a lot of farm, maybe gets the tower. Make sure he's doing something while you're losing objectives.
Yeah, he's managed to gather himself all the way back up to 76 CS, so he is picking up a little bit more of that farm, but he's still got those 4 deaths that are down on him. So that puts him at level 11 right now. He's not the lowest level on his team, but the lowest, well, I mean, I guess they're quite low. Tarek and Soraka both low, but the supports, it doesn't really matter. Corki the highest level in the game at 14, along with Singed. So team levels are looking actually quite even, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, you have the Aurelia. I think Aurelia is going to be the difference maker. She's extremely fed. She has that Trinity Force, which is an extremely strong item on any character, especially on Aurelia. And I think she's just going to dominate team fights, and she's going to be the playmaker.
So one thing that we're seeing here, Singed able to pick up that Oracles already. He has built one of his core items, which is the Rally's Crystal Scepter. So even more slowing action going on. And that's pretty much the last things that we've really seen get built up here. Malphite finishing his Sunfire Cape. Corki almost to his Triforce. Banshee's Veil on Nunu now, finally. So some stuff getting built up here for these teams.
That's good. If they want to come back into this game, they're going to need those strong pickups, and it looks like they might actually start doing Baron now.
Yeah, both teams gathered up around Baron here. We may possibly have our first real big team fight, which would take place here. These guys being very aggressive right now as OGB running into the jungle here, trying to gather on whoever they can. These guys quite separated here. Corki being the first person to go back and being the first person to go down as well. And we have a Vladimir Altov. He's going in with the Sanguine Pool. Everybody on OGB sitting at about half health now. That ult's not going to help them. But these guys all just running and scurrying away right now. Soraka being caught off guard by Singed, who had caught back up to him. She flashes back up into their base and able to get away. Only person going down there, Corki. So all that fight was gone to that, and it looks like we're going to see OGB heading towards Baron now, possibly going to pick that up for their team.
I could definitely. I would do Baron if I was them. Corki is the main damage dealer. He's the only one who's really in a strong position, and the Vladimir ult was used. But I guess they just don't feel comfortable with their lead just yet to try and do Baron 4v5.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, if we look down at the chat here on the screen, a lot of it might have been miscommunication in the team here. But they chose, for some reason, they did choose not to do Baron here, which I think could have been... Well, it's probably not something that's going to be completely game-changing because they do have the lead, but they definitely need to make sure that gets picked up and that RS isn't able to sneak one of those in on them right now because they are doing a little bit more turtling than what you'd like to normally see out of this.
Yeah, definitely, because I feel that Corki is the strongest carry in this game. I mean, Aurelia is a strong carry, but I think she's more of a mid-game carry, and Corki is an extremely late-game carry. So if it drags on, we might actually see Corki just start to take over this game.
Yeah, possibly. Vladimir, he's beginning to gather his stuff back up as he's finally toppled over the 100 CS mark. And now we're seeing OGB gathering up in Baron. The majority of Team RS is missing. We're seeing Soraka doing that rotation. They're indicating that they know that they're most likely at Baron right now. Baron, with a quarter of its health gone already. And it won't be long until we see probably a Malphite initiation up and over that cliff there as Baron starts to get lower. We're seeing Nunu come up right now, and he's only by himself. He does manage to get stunned by or grabbed by Rise there. And now he's flipped back there. Nunu, a large part of their damage going down early before his ultimate's able to go off, which is not what you want to see. And these guys are going to be forced to give up Baron here. Without that Nunu ultimate, they're not going to have enough damage in this mid part of the game to even do anything. We may see some poke and possibly an attempt to steal the Baron buff, but that's going to be it.
You're completely right about that. The pick definitely, it forced him to now try and steal. And you see Malphite ult go in, and Singed is chasing after Vladimir. Corki flashes over the wall. He's ignited. Looks like, Vladimir is going to go down. And Voyboy might actually go down too, playing with Corki.
Yep. Down goes Corki as he drops there. Soraka, the only one getting away, but who cares? It's Soraka. What can she possibly do right now? So we're going to see a push here. These guys are down for another 20 seconds. We're probably going to see an inhib out of this as well. Nunu, the first person
yeah,
to
I'd be
back
very
up.
shocked if they don't get an inhib out of this.
We're going to see Nunu just attempt to stand here, and Tarek's stun is out of the way. But there's not a lot he can do. The moment he buffs that ult up by himself, he's going to get thrown back by Singe, stunned by a Mumu, and basically get it canceled right away. And the inhibitor is going down, so that's going to give them an even larger advantage, as now they have Baron and they've got middle control of the middle lane as well. OGB looking very solid for this victory here. I mean, if I had to bet all my money right now, I'd say that they've got this pretty well hands down at this point. Mumu initiating him with his ultimate, and watch their health just dwindling away. Nunu trying to counter with his, and this whole team is not there. Ryze is not there with him, and now they've turned to a spot where they're going to try to run away, because all 5 of them sitting at about half health, and Mumu is down, so the fight is 4v5 at this point, and these guys just need to back out of here, because this is one, even though they're strong, they're not going to be able to win this fight if they commit to it. Dragon's up, dropping a ward down there to make sure they can still attempt to control that. And what a sneaky bush here, as they all going for the dragon, and the sneaky bush catches them off guard. Malphite with an ultimate, and still, again, not a lot of people here right now, and we're going to see exactly how they follow up here. Singe going through and chasing these guys down, everybody at low health, and they're now running. So this has gone back and forth and back and forth, chased and being chased, and chasing and being chased, and OGB definitely winning the blunt of this here and taking this fight down, as that was 4v5 there, but catching them off guard. What a nice little sneaky bush, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even after the really bad Amumu initiate, without the team even being ready, under the tower, even with that, like, misplay, they can still just wait for in a bush at Dragon and just completely dominate the other team. They're that far ahead.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how it is. And they still have Baron buff for just, I don't know, Baron buff's about 3/4 of the way through right now. But they're going to grab this tower. Aurelia now going towards the top lane to begin pushing. Well, she's going to grab red and then begin pushing that tower a little bit as well. So down goes the bottom tower. Vlad going to defend the top tower. And these creep waves just naturally pushing here in middle. So last game was very close. This game, not so close, man. Not what I don't know. Not what I really expected to see out of a round. What is this? Round 7? Yeah, round 7 in the qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, this was just pretty much textbook good play by OGB. They got the early advantage with Ryze and Aurelia, very strong early game lanes, and then they just snowballed it. They took dragons, they took barons. They messed with the enemy team's jungle. Pretty textbook stuff. Didn't make any huge mistakes, and good solid play will get you the win.
Yep. I don't know how long we've got till the inhib comes up. Dragon went down about 2 minutes ago. Excuse me, and their Baron buff is almost completed here. Well, actually, I think it just finished, didn't it? I still see the logo down there.
Yeah, the Baron buff is awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at the champions. I was actually looking, because I wasn't on Singed, I was looking at the little box down below indicating it would have been on. And the box says it was on, but the champion said elsewise.
Oh, that's strange.
So,
but it looks like they're going to group, and they're actually going to split push. They're going to Singed push bottom, and the rest of the team push top, which is a pretty effective strategy, and might catch them off guard.
Yep, Singed has finished and completed his Force of Nature. Aurelia building her 2 core items, the Trinity Force as well as a Bloodthirster. Mumu with his Sunfire Cape, and of course the Aegis of the Legion, which I believe he had quite early on. Soraka finally finishing her Aegis up. Corki's got his Triforce and Manamune. Vladimir finally building the Ryal's Crystal Scepter. And let's head back to the top lane here, where these guys are trying to fight it out. And Nunu with his ultimate in here, and just doing a ton of damage to these guys. Mumu going down from that fight. But still, it looks like these guys are going to have the distinct advantage over here, as OGB taking down 3 and losing 2. 3 for 3 here. So
yeah, in that team fight, you can just you can see the difference in priorities. they had Singed split push bottom, go for the tower, go for the inhib, and not be in the team fight at all, while RS went for the team fight and then tried to stop Singed after, which seems to have worked quite well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because that was 4v5. Although four of the OGB members were lost, I still think that strategy is going to fall into their favor here. They now have two of the outer turrets down, one inhibitor down in middle, and what that means is now they have the freedom to be able to push the bottom lane, and basically that whole staggering period where you're worrying about initiation because of the tower, that's not there anymore. So they're just going to come straight through and just push right into that and get that inhibitor down, and there's not going to be a whole lot that RS can do to stop them.
The enemy's inhibitor has respawned.
Oh man, Irelia's finished a Bloodthirster now, and that's just going to put her over the top. That gives her so much lifesteal, plus her already natural bulkiness, and she's just going to be impossible to kill at this point, with good support from Taric and Ryze.
Yep. So we're waiting for everybody to gather back up here. Looks like we're going to get a push middle. Mumu actually going through and jungling while the rest of his teams began to set up on the middle lane. So I believe they're going to wait for them before they commit themselves to any of these team fights. At least that would be the correct thing to do here. Vladimir picking up a good key item here, which will make a little bit of a difference. He does have his needlessly large rod. 3 to 5 is his current score, so he's trying to make up for what he lost a little bit earlier in that game. I don't know where his AP is at compared to where Ryze is, but I guess Ryze isn't based on AP, it's based on mana, and he has 4,380 mana, which is quite a bit. So we do have the fight going in here. Amumu using his ult rather early here and snatching the people in here. Amumu, Nunu trying to counter it with his, and we're seeing a lot of these guys just going down. OGB starting to run themselves into a trouble in the fight. Singe dropping down as well. So that fight much closer than what I had expected. They're now chasing down Ryze. Ryze hoping to get some kind of luck here with his bounces back and forth to finish it up here. Ryze versus Vlad. Ryze able to take him down. Taric now running away from Malphite and Corki were able to finish that up. Amumu very low health trying to run away here. But no, look at this devastating Corki coming out with a couple more kills here. And he's definitely proving his worth later on in this game here. As now OGB losing that fight to RS. The score 27-16. With OGB in the lead for that, but that team fight's definitely something else, and we're seeing RS making a comeback here. What do you think?
Yeah, that was really just due to the power of Corki. Like, nobody could get onto the Corki. They had their tanks out in front. Nobody could get back to the Corki, and he just took their team apart. He does so much damage endgame, and you have to be able to get on him. The Mumu ult just didn't give them the initiation they needed, and they lost because of it.
Yeah, it was rather early there, and they needed to make sure that they can try to get Corki in that and at least force him out of the fight. You don't necessarily have to kill Corki. He doesn't have to die right away. Somebody has to be on him to get him out of the fight, so he's not able to sit there and just free cast and free attack on everybody, which is what he just stood there and did.
Exactly. Just the raw power of him sitting there. If he's at least being harassed, if he's being flung around and slowed down by Singed or chased around by Aurelia, he's not doing as much damage. And that's really where the problems come up. So I think the next fight is going to be over Baron, and that might decide it.
Yeah, Baron's definitely going to decide it. And if you take a look here, Corki actually becoming the lead in CS at this point began to outfarm Aurelia, which he was quite a bit down earlier. He's been able to turtle himself up here. Triforce, Mana Immune, Last Whisper, which is another huge item for him. So again, a lot of warding around Baron right now, which is going to be the key point. Looks like bottom tower may go down due to neutral creeps.
It'll be interesting to see whether they just decide to do the Baron, which it looks like they might be thinking about, or if they decide to bait it.
Well, and each one has to have its right circumstances. A lot of teams kind of hang out there and try to bait Baron before anything, and we see that RS knows that this is going on, and they're immediately coming over here to counter it. Baron's sitting at 50% health right now. These guys are just trying to get it done. Baron almost dead, and there it goes. It does go down. RS now being forced into a fight while they have the Baron buff. Stun onto Vladimir, and look at this. Aurelia immediately chasing after Corki, and that's going to be the key here. The definitely prioritizing of this fight has strongly changed as Corki was pushed out of that. And there we see him Malphite ultimate, trying to do a little bit. Corki coming back around from the side here, though, but he is now back into it, immediately being targeted again. And this whole fight is just a chase on Corki, pretty much. Everybody being left behind because they know that Corki has to go down. Finally, Corki going down at the hands of Rise. But that's exactly what you have to do. Your Singe, making sure that this isn't over. Singe is like, this just needs to go away. And Aurelia and him both coming up here to finish this stuff up. Singe flipping Nunu back. Vladimir trying to do as much poke from behind as he can. And now he is going down. Vladimir being forced to position himself right back towards the base here as all four of his teammates have gone down. OGB definitely putting himself in a stronger situation as look at that, and Singe trying to catch him. He puddles away to get out of that, and he is barely going to get out of here, but that's going to cost them both of these inhibitors. What did you think about that fight, Centripetal?
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
I mean, that was just like a textbook, like, why you need two carries. So the Vladimir could not carry that fight. They focused all their attention on Corki. They dived Corki. 5 people tried to get at Corki the whole fight, and all he did was run. And Vladimir just couldn't pump out the damage necessary to take him down. So that's why you need 2 strong carries to win a game.
Yep,
not just one.
And I'm going to have to assume at this point Janna was one of the bans. I mean, because I wouldn't see Soraka pick over Janna really at any time.
Yeah, I'd be very... I mean, I know EU loves Soraka, but I don't think she's caught on in the North American scene to be overshadowed by, or to be a higher pick than Janna in any way.
Interesting stuff there. I don't keep up with the EU scene too much though, but it's where a lot of stuff can be learned from. I mean, 2 different kinds of play styles, and you can incorporate both of them and cause really good games.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting just seeing the differences just based on location. I mean, they're just a continent away, or an ocean away, so it's interesting that their LoL styles are so different just because of that.
Yeah, it's not like the people that play on Mars. The Mars League of Legends teams, they're just way far more advanced than what we are, and I mean, it's just a big difference between the two there. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, compared to the ones that play on Saturn and Pluto, the Mars ones are definitely a little bit more solid with the way that their meta game works, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Their carries are worlds apart.
They're out of this universe.
Exactly.
I'm known in casting for my corny little lines, so I know you're new to cast with me, but just kind of bear with my stupid little stuff here, and most of the time people love it, but yeah, it's just the way that you said, like, oh yeah, they're only in Europe. Well, they're half of our world away, so I mean, it is a little bit of a difference, and I don't know, they just have different kinds of mindsets on things for almost everything over there.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. It's just, it's definitely interesting how it affects their League of Legends play. And it creates a lot of fun. Like, I'd like to see a very EU versus North America, maybe even reverse like China, and just see how all their different styles would mesh in one big tournament.
Yeah. It's definitely pretty cool to see that go on, and it used to see it a lot more back when the economy was better. You would see like a lot of North American Counter-Strike teams going to large events over in China and Europe, and like major gaming organizations having the money to send these teams to do that. But with the change in the economy, I mean, most people aren't able to prioritize their money to that anymore. So the only towers and inhibitors that remains top, and that's where we're beginning to see this fight go in. Corki finding himself in a really good position back here to just kind of poke away at this. But no, Aurelia going right in at him. Aurelia like, get out of my house, boy, get out of my house. And she is just going after him, and she's like, you need to get out of this fight because you are not going to continue to just keep killing my team over and over again. But down goes Singe, and these guys are trying to end this here, but they may be doing a little bit too soon as Corki's still just sitting back there and just wrecking these guys. Now all the attention's been put on a couple other people here as we see Soraka going down. Corki now the last man standing as he's chasing after Rise, and Rise just going to burst Corki with all of that stuff there, and he is going back to the tower here. These guys at the last tower and the Nexus. I believe it is over.
Really interesting fight. Yeah, you're definitely right. It is over. It's just interesting how instead of focusing the carry, they just killed all his support and just left him up, and there was nothing he could do. It was fun to watch.
It was pretty cool. I mean, I put a good note on here, but Aurelia just immediately going after him and forcing him back out of the fight as much as possible, and nobody was really coming in to protect Corki from Aurelia there. As soon as they started to back and do that, and they noticed that that's when Rise would get a snare on somebody and all that burst damage would just drop onto somebody else. But this match is over. OGB going to take down the W here as they're going to be moving on, I believe, to the next round, or it could be the finals here of the ESL Qualifier. Join us for more casts. I am Pat, the TwiZ Harrison, and my new co-caster along with me, Centripetal. Any last parting words that you want to say?
I hope you enjoyed, and come back for more future content.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. If you like it, tell your friends. Bump the thread that you saw to get here. Make sure you bump that up. Otherwise, you can check out my YouTube, Z2 Productions. It'll be archived on there, as well as E-rev TV's website. You can follow us on Twitter, ERevN. Follow my personal Twitter, ERev TwiZ. Otherwise, that's where we're going to have all of our casts and stuff updated, and some cool little news, contests, prizes, all those goodies. So join us for that stuff, and thanks again for watching, and have a good day. Adios!